What's going on, everybody? It's your friendly neighborhood comedian, Mykenzie, and for my honors project, I decided to do a crash course video, but in the form of a Draw My Life. If you've never seen a Draw My Life, well, you're in for something very interesting. Alright, so this might not be something that interests you very much, but I promise you one day you might end up needing it and you're gonna thank me later. I'm doing my honors project on the similarities and differences between the military justice system and the civilian justice / court system. The Uniform Code of Military Justice, or UCMJ for short, is the basis of all military law. It was established by Congress in 1951. It describes what should happen if a military personnel is accused of a crime, specifically a military crime. It also outlines the rights of military personnel, kind of similar to the amendments. In order for a crime to be deemed a military offense, it has to be one of the following crimes. Crime number 1 is related to military duties, so not fulfilling a job. So in this case, this person is supposed to clean the rifles, and they said that they weren't going to clean them, so they would get referred to the court martial. Second one is if it's a threat to military personnel, it's deemed a military offense. Anything that is harming, any crime committed that harms another soldier is military offense. Another one is abusive status, so using your rank in order to get other soldiers to do something that they are not supposed to do or do not have to do would be considered a military offense. And the last one would be if the crime is on a military base. So any crime committed on a military base, stealing, theft, stealing, drunk driving, stuff like that, would be considered a military offense since it's committed on a military base. If it's a drug-related offense or a federal crime committed on or off base, if you are military personnel, you are still subject to being sent to the court-martial. If you somehow manage to end up going to court, you are awarded the same exact rights as a civilian. So, the right to a speedy trial, the right against self-incrimination, tongue twister. Or the Fifth Amendment is also awarded the right to counsel / an attorney, which is also known as the JAG Corps in the military, and due process. Going in depth, the right to a speedy trial is kind of different than it is in the civilian world. In the military, a trial has to happen within 120 days or 90 days if you are being held in jail or the book calls it confined. After that, charges are dropped and your slate's wiped clean and you're home free. The right against self-incrimination. So when you're arrested, there has to be a Miranda warning saying these are your rights and you don't have to talk to us, but if you do, it can be used. You have an option for counsel, which is military personnel basically have the right to get a lawyer. It can be a civilian lawyer or a military lawyer, also known as a JAG, hence the joke, or you can have both. Due process pretty much means that any evidence taken cannot be taken invasively, i.e. stomach pumping or urine sample or skin sample, but fingerprints and handwriting samples are okay. If you've ever seen the TV show or videos on YouTube where there's a person going back and forth with a police officer at their door, and they're like, no, you can't come in because you don't have a warrant. The police officer's like, oh, we just need to check a few things out. And then the person's like, no, come back with a warrant. And they end up fighting. Well, that's not the case for people in the military. You don't have to have a warrant to be searched, for your property to be searched, as long as your commander sees it fit and specifies what they're looking for and where they're looking for it. You do not have to have a warrant to be searched. All right, the court-martial is the lowest level of trial court. It's most similar to civilian court. You're not entitled to a military counsel, so you don't have to have a lawyer. And the person accused can object, but the proceeding would go to a higher court, and if they're found guilty, they would have a higher sentence or punishment. Some of the punishments include forfeiting 2/3 of the pay for 1 month or a hard labor for 45 days. The next level of court is a special court-martial, similar to a misdemeanor, and tries any crime not punishable by death. There's the right to a lawyer, but it has to come out of your pocket. Found guilty, punishments could include forfeiting 2/3 of your pay for 6 months, or you can be discharged. A general court-martial is the highest level, and it deals with federal offenses like treason and murder. And if you're found guilty, you can be dishonorably discharged, put in jail for life or lesser, and even put to death. If you believe that you are not guilty for the crime you were supposedly committed, you can appeal that to the court, and it'll go through court again. Any discharge can be sent to the Court of Military Review for appeal, and if it is repealed, you will gain your status back. That concludes my project. Mykenzie out.